Another 3 mark selection question class. Today's chapter is the portrait of a lady. Portrait of a lady, another prose. ଆମେ ୟା ଆଗରୁ ଅନ୍ ଏକ୍ଜାମିନେସନ୍ର ଡିସ୍କସ୍ କରିଛେ, ମାଇ ଗ୍ରେଟେଷ୍ଟ ଅଲିମ୍ପିକ୍ ପ୍ରାଇଜ୍ର ଡିସ୍କସ୍ କରିଛେ, ଇଭେନ୍ ଇଫ୍ ଟାଇମ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଲାଇଫ୍ର ବି ଡିସ୍କସ୍ କରିସାରିଛେ। ତ ଆଜି ଆମେ ପାର୍ଟ 4ରେ ୟେସ୍ ୱିଲ୍ ଗୋ ଫର୍ ପୋର୍ଟ୍ରେଟ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଏ ଲେଡି। ପୋର୍ଟ୍ରେଟ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଏ ଲେଡି ଆମେ ଡିସ୍କସ୍ କରିନେ ବୋଧେ ନା। ତ ପୋର୍ଟ୍ରେଟ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଏ ଲେଡିର କିଛି ପ୍ରୋବେବଲ୍ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଦେଖିବା। ପୋର୍ଟ୍ରେଟ୍ ଅଫ୍ ଏ ଲେଡି, यस पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ ए लेडी। पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ ए लेडी प्रथम प्रश्न सिलेक्शन क्वेश्चन आम देखा। तो पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ ए लेडी स्टोरी, प्रथम स्टोरीटा कौन पिले जे अथर आउ ग्रांड मदर कहते गोटे बापा माँ जो छाड़ी जाते गोटे जगह रोच एंड से भितर गोटे स्ट्रंग बॉन्ड क्रिएट हो। यार अथर होती कोचराल रामन नारायण के आर नारायण जहाँ कहूँ कोचरा सॉरी yes, R.K. Narayanam, not K.R. Narayanam. R.K. Narayanam is the author of the Portrait of a Lady. So let's discuss some of the question of that chapter, the Portrait of a Lady. कौन थिला प्रथम प्रश्न? So what are the 3 ways in which the grandmother spent her days when the author went to university? जेते बड़े grandma के author university को गले, what were the 3 ways? What were the 3 ways on that the grandmother spent her days? तो कौ 3टा माध्यम जेजेमा समय अतिबाहित करते मन रखा जिनस पे 3टा जिनस हूँ। गोटे जिनस हूँ फीडिंग द स्पैरोज, 1 फीडिंग द स्पैरोज पॉइंट गुड़ाक मन रखा। 2 नंबर हूँ स्पिनिंग द व्हील्स तार से चरखा थिला। एंड ऑप्शन 3 हूँ रिसाइटिंग प्रेयर और टेलिंग द बिट्स ऑफ अ रोजारी। So you can write the answer like this, that the 3 ways that the grandmother used to spend her time when the author went away are 1 is feeding the sparrows. So feeding the sparrows, and second one is spinning the wheel, and third one houchi telling the bits of a rosary. These are the 3 ways how she was spending her time. Okay, this is question number 1. Second question is describe the appearance of the grandfather according to the poets. Describing the what appearance of the grandfather appearance कौन थिला? Spinning wheel, feeding the sparrows, and telling the words of a rosary. Yes, beta sunte sikha. So now my question is, what were the experience or appearance of the grandfather according to the poet in the story? So ethi ame option gudi ko dekhiba. Option 1 se gote baro turban pinthile, baro turban कहले पगड़ी पिंथले. Option 2 तांकर long white birds थिला, माने दाढ़ी थिला, लंबा दाढ़ी थिला. ऑप्शन नंबर 2 से ढीला पायजामा पिंधिथिले आउ 4 नंबर पॉइंट होची 4 नंबर पॉइंटा रहिला जे से वाज जस्ट लुकिंग लाइक 100 इयर्स ओल्ड, 100 वर्षर वृद्ध भलिया देखा जाउतले, जहा विषय कहा जाइची दैट यू कैन से लूज फिटिंग क्लोथ्स, ये बेटा नहीं ना. सो here we can say that these are the ways. So according to the author R.K. Narayanam, the grandmother wore big turban. Yes, Kamlakant wore big turban and loose fitting clothes, and the maximum part of his chest covered with white boards, and he was looking 100 years old. And people who only have Khushwant Singh. Yes, beta Gayatri. Sorry, beta. Yes, you are correct. Khushwant Singh is the writer. Sorry, Khushwant Singh is the writer. You are correct. I had forgotten. Exactly, I was in a worry today. I'm not in a mood to take the class because I have told the students to take the class. That's why I'm taking the class. Yes, Khushwant Singh. You are correct. Very correct. Khushwant Singh is the writer of this, text. तो पिले एठी लेखा हितला आमे जो विषय आलोचना करथले. The question was yes allocation. Yes, I'm sorry guys. So what happens? What I was telling, I was talking about the appearance of the grandfather. according to the portrait that was hung over the mantelpiece से जो थिला से जिनसटा तो एठी कहला मु कहि सारलिनी ऑलरेडी केमती कोन लेखिबा ओके तो जीवा पिले परवर्ती प्रश्न व्हाट आर द टर्निंग पॉइंट इन द फ्रेंडशिप बिटवीन द ग्रैंडमदर एंड द राइटर टर्निंग पॉइंट ता कोन थिला पिले टर्निंग पॉइंट व्हाट आर द टर्निंग पॉइंट्स इन द फ्रेंडशिप बिटवीन द ग्रैंडमदर एंड राइटर ग्रैंडमदर आउ राइटर का भितर टर्निंग पॉइंट कौन थिला तांको रिलेशन रो टर्निंग पॉइंट कौन थिला सो व्हाट आर द हु कैन टेल मी व्हाट वाज द टर्निंग जय जगन्नाथ व्हाट आर द टर्निंग पॉइंट्स द टर्निंग पॉइंट when they went to the city house you can say when they went to the city house there was a turning point in their friendship what happens the writer went to the English went to an English medium school by school bus and he was taught their English and Western science etc. That was beyond the reach of the grandma. That was beyond the reach of the grandma. Grandma को reach बाहर थिला से अब तंको पाठ पढ़ारे साहाଯ୍य करि पारु नथिले नहीं so like this what happens this was the turning point and she was just irritated with the teaching of the Western school or English medium school because there was no teaching about God and scripture because there was no teaching about God and scripture कारण सेठी भगवान किंबा पुराण पाठ विषय किसी पढ़ा हो नथिला that's why she was being irritated she was getting angry on the teaching gone to the town and the writer went on to English medium school with motor bus Notisika Nayak very good beta yes परवर्ती प्रश्न देखिबा तो परवर्ती प्रश्न अछि बिले what are the grandmother's daily work in the village what was the grandmother's daily work in the village grandmother करो daily work सबुदिन काम कौन थिला village रे राजेश welcome to the class कौन थिला what was the daily routine of the grandmother in the village गाँ रे तो प्रथम मु ओडिया रे कहि दोछि प्रथम कथा होउतला से राइटर को गाधे दोथले यस नो ताको सकाळु उठौथले गाधे दोथले से गाधेला समय गुणगुण कर गीत गाउथले गीत एइथि पई गाउथले तांको नाती सुनिकी सिखिबो गीत तापरे तांको पई तांकर स्लेट देन रीड पेन ये सब रेडी कर दोथले जीवा पई स्कूल तापरे से तांको पई ब्रेकफास्ट दोथले स्टेल चपाती स्प्रेडिंग ए लिटिल बटर तापरे से माने जाउथले किछि स्टेल चपाती धरिके जाउथले मंदिर को so this was the daily routine of the grandmother nahi ki daily routine sabudina thila so we can write here the daily routine of grandmother was like this when the or you can say when the writer's parents went to the city house the writer was staying with his grandmother and every day the grandmother wake up the writer and make him bath and get ready for school and at the time getting ready for school she was singing the morning prayer in a monotonous song that her grandchildren would listen it and remember it by heart but the writer was not interested at all but he liked her voice that's why he listened it carefully and thereafter she gets ready all the equipments that was being carried by the author नहीं कि जाउतले okay so no exactly I'm not getting that much of time to reply all the question in Twitter and WhatsApp and Facebook, whatever you're telling. A little busy with the students. Their exam is ahead. College रे बहुत सारा ड्यूटी अच्छी पिले. That's why. तो ये बढ़िया किसी सिचुएशन थिला तो नहीं कि जाऊ थिले. तो परवर्ती प्रश्न थिला. परवर्ती प्रश्न हो चिपिले. Were the city house and country house different from each other? If so, how? Where the city house and country house different from each other if so how city house thank you odia lyrical song thank you to pile ame ethi prashna hala where the city house and country house different from each other city house ebong country house different from each other mane duita alga alga thile ki are they different from each other se jo city ro ghar thila au kon thila jo विलेज रे तांको घर थिला ए दुईटा भितरे डिफरेंस कोन थिला एग्जाम अपडेट ऊपर 8:30 बेले मु कथा हेबी 8:30 बेले मु कथा हेबी सब दिन तुमको कहिछि मु प्रॉमिस करिछि जे 8:30 बेले मु तुमको लाइव कथा हेबी तुम सहित ठीक अछि Yes, okay. Asutosh Panda, very good beta. So one difference we find, I good difference paile, there was no street dogs in the city house. Very good. City house re street dogs. No middle no tangu. They were live in single room. Alok creations, very good. They were living in single rooms. Okay. Their rooms were different. And okay. So in city house, she was not feeding. In village, she was not feeding sparrows, but in city, she was feeding sparrows. Yeah? Yes or no? So these are the three difference you can write. That the difference between the city house and village house was in village, a mother, the grandmother was doing all the work for the author, but at the city house, when they went to city house, the author went to the school, and she could not have accompany the writer to the school. And also there was no ducks that she could feed them with stale chapati. That's why she was feeding the sparrows there. And one more thing was there, that they were being given separate rooms. Separate, when the writer went up to the university, they were being provided separate rooms, and by this the common link of friendship was snapped. So this is the answer we have to write. Next question, let's see another question. So why did the writer say the thought was almost revolting? Why did the writer say the thought was almost revolting? The thought was almost revolting. যে এই ভাবনাটা, জয় জগন্নাଥ ଭାରତ, এই ভাবনাটা ମୋ ଭିତରେ ଆନ୍ଦୋଳନ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରୁଥିଲା। এই କଥା ସେ କାହିଁକି କହିଛନ୍ତି? Why did he say so? ସୋ ଏଠି ପିଲେ ପ୍ରଶ୍ନ ଉଠେ, କେଉଁ ବିଷୟରେ ସେ କହିଛନ୍ତି, କେଉଁ ବିଷୟରେ ସେ କହିଛନ୍ତି, ଏଇ ଯେଉଁ କଥାଟା ସେ କହିଛନ୍ତି କେଉଁ ବିଷୟରେ କହିଛନ୍ତି, କାହିଁକି କହିଛନ୍ତି? ଯେତେବେଳେ ଗ୍ରାଣ୍ଡ ମାଙ୍କୁ ସେ ଦୀର୍ଘ 20 ବର୍ଷ ହେଲା ତାଙ୍କ ଜେଜେମାଙ୍କୁ ସେ ଦେଖି ଦେଖି ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି। 20 ବର୍ଷ ଭିତରେ ପଦ୍ମନାଭ, ଜୟ ଜଗନ୍ନାଥ, ତ 20 ବର୍ଷ ଭିତରେ ସେ ବୁଢ଼ୀ ଯେମିତି ବୁଢ଼ୀ ଅଛି, ସି ୱାଜ୍ ସୋ ଟେରିବଲି ଓଲ୍ଡ ଦଟ୍ ସି ୱାଜ୍ ନଟ୍ ଗେଟିଂ ଓଲ୍ଡର। ସେ ଆଉ ବୁଢ଼ୀ ନଥିଲା, ଏତେ ବୁଢ଼ୀ ଥିଲା ଯେ ସେ ଆଉ ବୁଢ଼ୀ ହେଉନଥିଲା। and people were telling, ଲୋକମାନେ କହୁଥିଲେ that once she was also young and pretty. ସେ ମାନେ ଦିନ ଥିଲା, ସେ ବି ସୁନ୍ଦରୀ ଥିଲା, ସେ ବି ଯୁବତୀ ଥିଲା, ସେ ବି ସୁନ୍ଦରୀ ଥିଲା। even she had a husband, even if ତାର ଗୋଟେ ସ୍ୱାମୀ ଥିଲା, and this that and when grandma told that she was also playing games when she was a child, this type of that author could not believe, ସେ ବିଶ୍ୱାସ କରିପାରୁନଥିଲେ ନାଇଁ। so if we'll write, then what will write? Then when the looks of the grandma suggest, according to the writer, the looks of the grandma suggest that she was never been young, and it is not imaginable that she was also once playing games. And when people say it about the grandmother that she was once been young and pretty, she was once been young and pretty, that was almost revolting inside the author. And also people added that she had even had a husband, तार गोटे स्वामी थिला, तार भी गोटे ओके नो प्रॉब्लम निरंजन, तार भी गोटे स्वामी थिला, ए कथा भी लोक कहते। तो यही थॉटटा से विश्वास करि पारंतिनी जे सतरे कौन ये केबे माने यंग थिला, केबे ये भी बाहा थिला, ये भी खेलुला। सो दिस थॉट वाज ऑलमोस्ट रिवोल्टिंग इनसाइड द author. इंग्लिश रे जस्ट पास करवाटा बहुत सहज। मानस साहू गोटे घंटा दिन को पढ़, दैट्स ऑल, गोटे घंटा पढ़। इंग्लिश इज द इजीएस्ट सब्जेक्ट इन द वर्ल्ड। पृथ्वी रे कौन सी भाषा जदि सहज सेटा होचे इंग्लिश। एंड डोंट वरी, जॉइन मास्टर ऑफ इंग्लिश रो को पिला इंग्लिश रे फेल बेनी, आई एश्योर्ड। परवर्ती प्रश्न होची पिले कोन, what was the grandmother doing in the temple when the village priest was teaching the writer? What was the grandmother doing in the temple when the village priest was teaching the writer? Grandma मंदिर भीतर कौन करते जिते बड़े यांकु पढ़ाऊला पाठ। So what she was doing? So simple, so easy। आम समस्त जानी टेक्स्ट को, जे टेक्स्ट रे कौन अच्छे बोले, the writer and his friends, they were taught morning prayers and alphabet inside the temple by the priest. पूजारी यांको पढ़ाऊला, कौन पढ़ाऊला? morning prayer and alphabet। And at the meantime the grandmother was sitting inside the temple reading her scripture, and she was accompanying the author. Only that the grandmother the temple was attached to the स्कूल कारण थिला जे मंदिर सहित स्कूल अटैच होइकी थिला जो कहंतिनी दियो देखा हबो कदली खिया हबो गोटे गुली रे दीटा शिकार हबो एबेला किछि अछि कथा तो दैट वाज द ओनली रीजन that's why she was going accompanying the author isn't it ओके पिले शेष आ गोटे प्रश्न देखिबा आ गोटे प्रश्न कोन अछि शेष शेष आडे प्रश्न what happened to the grandmother the day after the late night celebration what happened to the grandmother the day after the late night celebration pore grandmother ku kono hela what happened to her so after the late night celebration you can say kono heitila pile jetebele author jaiki 5 वर्ष पर आसिले देखिले philip thank you love you too love you all guys I love my students are my life and for yourself I'm there for you only guys I'm a classroom teacher I love to teach inside the classroom तो कौन हुए पिले एक्जाक्टली तो जेतेबेले ऑथर 5 वर्ष पर आसंती 5 वर्ष पर हाँ हाँ एग्जाम अपडेट ऊपर 8:30 रे कथा पिले तो पिले कौन थिला एटा जे कौन मु कौन कहतली एक्जाक्टली आई वाज टेलिंग अबाउट व्हाट यस सो केमती हला लव यू राजेश तो पिले से जेत 5 वर्ष पर आसचंती से देखिचंती काहाकू देखिचंती तांको जेजेमा को देखिचंती से जेमती थिला सेमती अछि देयर वाज नो नो चेंज एटल ओके गेट वेल सून निरंजन गेट वेल सून तो 5 इयर्स पर से आसचंती आइला पर से देखिचंती से जेमती थिला सेमती अछि तो सी आसला पर से कोन करचंती गोटे डाइलेपिडेटेड ड्रम्स जो शब्दटा व्यवहार है डाइलेपिडेटेड ड्रम्स माने फटा ददरा ड्रम्स ढोल आनिकी ये बजई गीत गाई पाख पाखर पड़ोशी स्त्री लोक मान डाकिक होम कमिंग ऑफ द वॉरियर्स योद्धा मान घर फेरंता गीत गाई आ नाची माने मना कर स्ट्रेस ने ना तो देह भल ना तो देह खराब हो बट सी हैडंट हर्ड से शुणी नाई द नेक्स्ट मॉर्निंग सी वाज सेकेंड इल ताकू ज्वर होई से डाक्टर को डाकी डाक्तर कहते कौन डाक्तर कहते जे से भल हो से भल हो बट बाय द ग्रैंडमा केम टू नो दैट इट्स अ टाइम नाउ सी वांट टू गो एग्जैक्टली से तार समय है yes or no so this is like something is there so we can write that after the day, late night celebration thank you Kafi create experiment in Odia thank you so the grandmother taken ill the doctor told that it was a mild fever and it would go away but the grandmother intention was different she told that her time is near and she wanted to pray she don't want to be disturbed by the person of the family or relatives and so by the way she has slept making telling the beads of rosary and by the way within no time the rosary fell down from her lifeless finger and like this she died so this was the answer we have to write thank you lyrical thank you तो पिले शेष प्रश्न देखिबा शेष प्रश्न how did the sparrow react when the author's grandmother died how did the sparrow react jay mahakala sutosh so what happens how did the sparrows react when the author's grandmother died this is the last question of the day kon thila pile how did the sparrow react ghar chotiya mane ki bhali reaction kale jete bele se mari gala this is the question so what is the reaction of the sparrows exactly so what happens the grandmother died in the afternoon and in the evening when the writer and his family members they went to lift up the carcass of the grandmother at that time they saw the thousands of sparrows making no chirrupings they were sitting calm and silent as they were mourning the death of the grandmother and the mother being helpless took some breadcrumbs and threw them as the grandmother did but the parrot didn't have any attention towards the breadcrumbs and when the corpse being lift up the sparrows fly away silently so from this expression whatever being there by Khushwant Singh whatever he written there in the text it is very clear that the sparrow they were also mourning the death of the grandmother so here the feelings of human and the relation of human being and animals is being sketched by Khushwant Singh so guys that's all for the day आज एतिकी प्रश्न थिला मझे मु भूल भी कहीदेली आर के रमन खुशवंत सिंह जगह आर के रमन बोली कहीदेली बट आई थिंक पिले सेमती हुए सो इट्स ए क्लास विदाउट प्रिपरेशन इंग्लिश पढ़ाऊँ पिलाମାନଙ୍କୁ तो ओवर कॉन्फिडेंटली मुझे क्लास करुच्ची पिले सो आसंता काली पुणी थर कथा हवा पिले पुणी थर कथा हवा पुणी थर आउ गोटे चैप्टर विषय आलोचना करवा आमर 4टा चैप्टर सरलानी आउ 2टा चैप्टर अच्छी 2टा चैप्टर सरले पाठ सरीब ठीक अच्छे नहीं आउ गोटे आई थिंक हाँ आउ 2टा चैप्टर 3 6टा चैप्टर तो आज 8:30 बेले एग्जाम रिलेटेड कथा भी हवा आम पिले ठीक अच्छे एग्जाम रिलेटेड कथा हवा वांट टू सी यू देयर मेक सम नॉइज सो बाय बाय स्टे सेफ टेक केयर ऑफ योरसेल्फ